Officer Talley being a white male who ran into a grocery store where an active shooter was killing people. He ran into this grocery store and lost his life trying to protect people. Not white people, not black people, not Asian people, people. We need to stop allowing these people in positions of power to push this false narrative, because it overshadows when a true hero loses his life doing what he or she is supposed to do.
Yo, what's going on? Welcome to another episode of the It's Needed podcast, where we discuss real issues involving law enforcement in the community. It's your boy, Ryan Tillman, founder of Breaking Barriers United, and I'm joined today by the light-skinned wonder himself, Mr. Oh No, it's the Popo.
I know you see them guns right there. I know you see them
Small,
guns.
bro. It kind of shrinking.
And I'm back in there.
I didn't realize that tattoos could shrink like that.
Oh, they just look way better when they're smaller.
They look smeared when they get smaller, bro.
Like, what is that?
Oh,
the dot?
Man. And we also are joined by the Savage himself again this week, who's back in action, Mr. Billy. What's going on, Billy?
Hey, happy to be here for this one.
Hey, bro. Audio sounding a lot better than it was last week, because we are back in studio. So
last year too. Yeah, we sound better than last year too. So
whatever. Did I say last year?
At first you did. You corrected yourself.
Yeah, whatever. See, you always owe me, bro. Always owe me. But anyways, it is good to be back. I hope you guys enjoyed your week. And I just got to tell you guys, it is a true pleasure to be able to do this podcast. I know we've said it before, but I mean, we look forward to it every week. That's why we were doing it in the car and stuff. It is a true pleasure just to be able to talk and hear the comments that you guys say, or hear the questions that you guys send back to us. So I just want to thank you guys for listening, because if it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't be doing this podcast at all.
Yeah. It still kind of catches me off guard when I hear someone say like, oh, the podcast, like they bring up the podcast during the conversation. Like I'm somewhat used to like the social media thing, just because I've been doing it for so long. Like, oh, the Instagram or TikTok or whatever. But it always puts a big smile on my face when someone's like, oh, I listen to the podcast, or I love the episode where whatever. And so yeah, you're absolutely right, man. Like it is an absolute honor to do this podcast. I
had somebody a couple weeks ago, and it's pretty funny. He was like, yeah, man, don't you host that radio show? I was like, you mean a podcast?
Nationally syndicated radio show.
I know, right? So
Siri XM, if you're listening.
Oh, man.
Hit us up.
But yeah, so we appreciate it, man. How's your morning going so far? Or actually, it's afternoon for you.
Yeah, it's afternoon. It's been a great weekend, though, man. The wife planned like a little like date weekend for us. Our first night together overnight without our kids. So we dropped our son off at her sister's house. She watched him overnight. We went to like a nice little suburb, did the suburb thing, got a hotel room, and just hung out and enjoyed each other's company, man. So do you see over there cheesing? What you cheesing?
Speaking of suburbs, I know somebody else who lives in the suburbs. Lives in the suburbs and is keeping up with the Hamptons. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Put it out there.
Put it out there. I am. So, you know how Billy always likes to talk about me, right? With limos and all that stuff.
You live in a nice area. Yeah, I've been there.
I live in a 2-bedroom apartment, bruh.
Oh,
me and my five children.
Here we go.
But anyways, so yesterday, I'm over at Billy's house, right? So Billy, I got to give it to him. Billy
for the first time since he bailed on the housewarming party.
Hold on. Time out.
Oh.
Anyway, Billy did me a solid.
The plot thickens.
Billy did me a solid. So I told y'all about my vacuum cleaner I bought last week, right? So
talk of the town.
Told y'all about the vacuum cleaner / air purifier that I got. Phenomenal.
The essential oils.
Yeah, but exactly. But part of the catch is I'm trying to get it for free. The thing is pricey, but I got to do presentations to get it for free. I think I told you this. So, last minute, in order to get it for free, I got to do 6 presentations in 45 days, and so my 45th day is on Monday. So typical Ryan fashion, I procrastinate. So I was like, hey, Billy, I need a solid, bro. I need you to allow me to come over and do a presentation for you and your wife. So he's like, okay, cool. Billy holds me down. Billy's my boy. He's like, all right, man. First, he was like, I don't know if Bianca's going to like that or not. And so then he had Bianca up, and Bianca, my girl, she was like, oh, heck yeah. So Bianca said yes. So I should really be thanking Bianca. But anyways, so I get there, and as I'm getting there, my man's doing his presentation. I'm just chilling, doing my thing. And I'm like looking around the house. And so me, you know.
Oh, wait. You have to bring somebody to do the presentation?
Like a salesman comes with him. Like it's a whole thing.
Yeah. Like I'm not the one doing it. Like it's a salesman doing it, right?
You the connection. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm just chilling, bro, playing Candy Crush, doing my thing. So anyways, as I'm sitting there, you know, he's like showing this vacuum cleaner. It's phenomenal. Billy agreed. Phenomenal. Like
you don't have to sell it to the podcast.
Hold on.
Right.
Hold on. But it is phenomenal. So as he's doing this, I hear another vacuum cleaner going off in the house somewhere. So I'm thinking like, oh, we got a little vacuum beef right now. Like we're gonna put
vacuum beef.
So I look around and I see this lady, and I don't recognize this lady at all. So I'm like,
let's go.
Who is this? So I asked Billy. I was like, I look over at Billy. I'm like, Billy, y'all got a maid, bro? Bro, Billy had a maid at his house, bro. Like, cleaning the bathrooms, everything, bro. I walked out of there feeling like Mr. Clean. I was like, golly, bro. And I saw Billy give her like a 10-cent tip. I was like, you cheap mother. I just playing.
Flick the dime at her. Here you go.
No, but I was like, Billy, you got a maid? He was, yeah, bro. Billy. So
look, I feel like maid is derogatory. All right, so she does that for a living. She's a cleaner, right?
Okay, well, she's a cleaner.
So you have a housekeeper?
No.
That sounds better. You're right. Forgive me.
There's a company called Molly Maid.
Yeah. So that it's
so
literally
I don't
the first
know if Maid
time.
is...
It's literally the first time she's come, but we are with Bianca. Bianca's gonna have a newborn.
Here comes the cover up, bro.
A kid under 2.
Here comes the cover up, bro.
So like once or twice a month, I want to have someone come help her. You know, just like she's gonna have her hands full.
I'm gonna make Billy feel so bad right now because he always makes me feel bad. Don't try to cover it up now. Don't try to cover. It's okay, Billy.
Yeah, it's to help my wife out. You know?
Hey, Billy a little like shy about this topic right now.
He getting mad at me. I can see him getting mad at me. He's like, I can't believe
this is never going to make it on the podcast, by the way. Like this whole section going to be
chopped out. I feel like this is very normal to have like, you know, once or twice a month someone help you out. And this is the first time we're doing
For who?
I was about to say, I ain't never in my life had somebody come clean my place up.
Oh, well.
That's that Cali life.
Oh, that's for those little people over here.
I sent y'all that news article about what's going on in Cali with all that pollution.
Be quiet, man. Be quiet.
You know,
I'm not even gonna tell y'all about what he's referring to. But anyways, so it's funny because as soon as that happened, I looked at Billy. I was like, yes, I got some content for the podcast. I was like, yeah. So he knew I was gonna bring that up, but yeah, I appreciate you, Billy, for helping your boy out. I'm about to get this thing for free, so you know, holla at your boy.
How long have you been there, Billy?
Since October.
Since October, and that's Ryan's first time over there, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so you gonna bring that up? Why you bring?
Funny how that works. Why
are you bringing up old stuff though?
I know. Ryan sent me a picture.
Billy ain't been to my house.
I have.
Ryan's. I've been to your place.
No, not my new place.
I've been to your new place.
Oh, well, I live in a different state. Like, you live down the street from Billy. Like,
it's a 6-minute drive down the road, GPS. Like 6 minutes.
Oh, betrayal.
Oh, man. Stop bringing up old stuff. But anyways, moving on really quickly before we get to the topic today. Man, did you see Lil Nas X's shoes?
I knew it. I knew you was bringing that up. I literally just had it on my phone.
Did you see it?
All right, so which part are we talking about? Because there's two things we need to talk about with this dude. Yeah, man. Did you see the music video?
Oh no, I'm too afraid to watch it.
I didn't watch it. I just seen a clip of it.
So I heard like it. Like I read an article that describes the music video, like how he's getting Satan like a lap dance and like all this other stuff.
So let's start from the beginning. All right, so Lil Nas X is a rapper, and he is famous for creating the Old Town Road. I'ma take my horse through the Old Town Road.
Which was kind of wholesome. You know. It was kind of a fun song.
Like, until you know what he's talking about.
Oh, actually, I don't know what he's talking about. Never mind then.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Betrayal. Oh, wow.
Wait, is this something we should,
okay.
Just sing the chorus for me.
No, I'm not gonna. I don't want to sing it no more. Like I don't even want to. No,
I'm gonna take my horse to the Old Town Road. I'm gonna ride till I can't no more.
Oh, is this like a red light district kind of song? Or what?
Yikes!
Well,
yeah, it's something.
It depends.
We'll break it down for you later, Billy. We'll break it down for you later.
It's kind of perverted, but yeah.
Yeah, super perverted. So now that you say that, so after that video was released, he like publicly came out as gay, and no one really batted an eye at it. But I feel like since then he's been like taking it to the extreme to get attention. So he came out with this song. The song lyrics on that song is crazy. It's basically just about him like hooking up with a guy. But in the video, he's like an angel floating up to heaven. This is like a little clip I seen. He's like floating up to heaven, and then something happens, and like his wings disappear, and a stripper pole comes from the heavens all the way down to like hell, and he is like stripping all the way down to hell, and then gets to hell and is like making out with Satan and like grinding on him, and he's like wearing like these high heels. It's a lot. It's a lot. So there's that. And then after that music drop, he announced that he is coming out with a pair of Nikes. Only 666 of them will be made and sold. They have like an air bubble, so they're Air Max 97. Mm-hmm. So they have like a air bubble going all the way around the bottom of it, and it's filled with I think 60 cc's of red
human blood
dye, and then 1 drop of human blood, and it has upside down cross on the tongue. It has the Satan emblem on the sole of the shoe and on the in the middle of the tongue, and then it has Luke 10:18 on the side of the shoe.
Which
he's selling people.
Which Luke 10:18 talks about how Satan fell from like
lightning.
Yeah,
fell
exactly.
from the heavens like lightning.
Yeah.
So this is my thing. Look, you about to get me started, bro.
Go ahead. It's Sunday.
It is. And it's Sunday, and church was good this morning too. This is my thing. Is we live in times where we will cancel any and everything, right? Like we'll cancel Dr. Seuss, even though it was made, however long ago. And, they try to cancel Eminem, and based off of what he got famous for, right? Like he got famous for those lyrics, and I'm not condoning those lyrics, but to go back in time and say, well, we need to cancel this artist because of, what he got famous for. We canceled shoes. I don't know if you remember that, but a pair of Nikes were canceled because there was a flag on the back of them, and people were offended by the flag that's on them. But yet we almost glorify this sadistic behavior, and no one bats an eye at it, right? So like we'll use the Grammys, for instance. And I don't want to be like that old guy that's like, oh, look at this, right? Because when we were growing up, we had not Nicki Minaj, but Lil' Kim.
Yeah, but she was nothing compared to what's going on now, though.
She wasn't, but she was wild, right? So like I have to acknowledge that. Like when I was growing up, Lil' Kim was popular. Like she wore a shellfish, like covering up one of her breasts, and that was like super famous. And her lyrics were very comparable. Like her lyrics were crazy. So I get that, but the times were different then. Like no one was tripping about like what was going on everywhere else. But it seems like you have to be careful how you move now, and it's like. To me, it feels like it's an attack on like Christianity. Like you could be whoever you want. You could be whoever you want in today's society, except a Christian or except a straight male or, except a white male. And it's like, it's kind of frustrating for me because I have to check myself because, I'm biracial, right? So like, I don't really sweat it, but like, I can't imagine the pressure of being a white male. Like, picture being a straight white male in today's society. Like, I feel like you would have to walk on eggshells, or at least feel like you would have to walk on eggshells 24/7 to like appease, whoever is in control of this cancel culture. But yeah, it's right. Crazy, man.
It's biblical, and it talks about when good is bad and bad is good. It'll be signs of the time. I mean, on that same topic, there is right now, they are trying to pass a bill. Can you turn my mic up a little bit, Billy?
Turn my snare up.
Oh shoot, hold on. Yeah, I gotta put this charger in. Oh, great. There's a bill right now that they're proposing here in California. Now I don't think it's going to get approved, but the mere fact that they can try to pass a bill like this and get it on the ballot is scary. California bill proposes removing cops who express religious or conservative beliefs.
Whoa.
That would be me.
Whoa.
That would be me.
And that's a proposed bill.
Yes. So I'm a cop, and just the mere fact that we're talking about this right now would be grounds for my removal. So the reason I don't think that would be passed is just because if that happened, they're going to lose everybody. I mean, you're going to lose like 2/3
everybody has some
And
sort of
it's
religious belief.
It's unconstitutional. It's all that stuff. But the mere fact that it goes to but what you're saying, AJ, this whole council culture is like, I had this discussion with some of my friends last night. I'm like, you know what? To each his own. If you want to go out there and buy a Satan shoe, buy your Satan shoe.
That's between
I'm not
you
tripping.
and,
if you want to go out there and you do what you do with whoever, whatever, male or female, do what you do. If you're one of those people that says, hey, look, I want to remove gender, to my baby's name, and I'm going to refer to my baby as a they instead of a boy or a girl, do what you do. But don't try to pass that on to everybody else and make it a mandate for everybody else to abide by everything that you believe and stand by and try to silence me. And that's what's so wrong, I think, is just that, like, you want us all to conform to a small percentage of the population when the majority of the population are, wholesome people. So we are bending over for a small percent of the population when majority of the population don't even get down like that. And so, but again, it's all Satan's ploy, bro. If you look at it, bro, that's the only reason we're seeing this right now. I was telling somebody the other day, is like, I have friends that I have disagreements with that we don't see eye to eye on certain issues, but we've said it before, that's okay. Because the moment I start getting mad about them, about how they view things, like I can get frustrated with how they view things and see things because it's not the way I see it. But does that mean I counsel them? No, because that makes me just as bad as everybody else is trying to counsel me. So I don't counsel them just because they see things differently than me. I'll talk to them. I may not agree with you, but we can still be cool. And we have to understand why that's so important, because if we just start counseling them, then we're no good as everybody else.
Right. Yeah, we definitely live in interesting times, man. And even so much so that I want to say that in the same week, NYPD ended qualified immunity, and LAPD passed a like $34 million increase. So they're almost refunding the police. So, you have like two, I would probably say the biggest departments in the United States, who are doing like complete opposite. So yeah, I don't know, man, times are rough. And I seen a video. I don't know if you've seen this, man. It made my blood boil. I just seen it this morning, where two teenage girls were still in a car. Did you see this video? Ooh, buddy. So the video starts, there's a guy outside of a car. He is like filming with his phone, and there are two teenage girls inside of a car. And there's like an elderly man who turned out to be like a food delivery guy, right? So like an Uber Eats or whatever. So they set him up and they tased him. They like had a stun gun. So they stun him with the stun gun, which this ain't the movies, right? Like you don't start shaking all of that. And they're trying to steal his car. So like he's kind of like half in the car, but like half standing up as well, with out the driver's side. And you hear one of the girls like keeps pushing on the gas. So like the engine keeps revving. And the guy's like, they're trying to steal the car. They're trying to steal the car. And he's filming instead of helping, which whatever. We'll talk about that later, I guess. And then the car goes into drive, takes off. So now the elderly man's kind of like holding on. He's like half inside, half outside still. And then the door hits a pole. So the door slams on him. Then it hits a wall, slams on him again. Then it goes down the street, clips a car, flips, sends him into a wall, and he dies instantly.
Wow.
And it's all on film. And then the girls, because now the car's like on its side, one of the girls is already out, and there's like military personnel that were in the area for some reason. They're kind of like holding on to the girl, making sure she's all right. And the guy's like, no, they just stole that car. And the girls are like trying to leave. Thank God they got arrested. But
man, send me that video.
Like, what city was this in?
Send me that video.
I'm not sure. I'll try to look it up.
What's crazy, man, is that, but people will they're not going to get any punishment. And if they do, it'll be very minimal.
No, and their name's going to be a hashtag now.
Their
name,
yeah. And then the other thing is just like, everybody wants to defend them, but I get that same person that would try to defend them, if that happened to them or their loved one, they'd be all pissed off about it.
So it was an Uber Eats driver.
Man, that's terrible. But that's the world we live in. And that's where it's only getting worse. And I told my buddy this morning when I was driving to the studio, is that, man, it just makes me afraid for my children, because this stuff is happening rapidly. Like, what kind of world are they going to live in? Like, I can only protect them for so long, and I can only help them for so long. Like, what kind of world are they going to live in? And so, but what we got to do is we just got to continue to keep the faith and move forward and realize that God is still in control.
Yeah. So it happened in D.C. The victim was 66-year-old Muhammad Anwar of Springfield, Virginia. And the girls were 13 and 15 years old.
My gosh.
13
They're so young.
And 15 years old. And the deflating part for me is like, this is happening everywhere.
Yeah.
Like crimes are at an all-time high right now everywhere.
But you know what's also deflating too, real quick, is that I guarantee you, had that been a black dude and it been some white guys or some white people that did that, it'd be all over everything.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. 100%. Yeah. But so just to I guess give more context to the video, the two females were female blacks, and the guy, I want to say, was like maybe like Middle Eastern or something to that effect. I don't want to offend anybody or say wrong information, but that's what he visually appeared to be. But yeah, man, I mean, that like the video is just disturbing, bro. Like, I mean, you literally watch a man who's trying to put food on the table for his kids or for his family or for himself, lose his life for what? And he even says in the video, "This is my car. This is my car." And then they take off. But yeah, I guess that's the deflating thing for me. This is happening everywhere. Like even here in Columbus, there was a video that kind of went viral online, and it was all over the news for multiple days, where two teenagers pushed an elderly woman down in like a Kroger, like a grocery store parking lot. They pushed her down and then took her car, and then she grabbed onto the handle as they were like pulling out of the parking spot in reverse at an angle, and they kind of flung her, and she went back and hit her head, and she was all banged up and bloody. She lived, but it's just like, these things are happening, and that just goes to show you like the importance of like these political moves that we're making, these knee-jerk reactions, and really attacking law enforcement. Like, I don't want to, sit here and preach that, or turn this into a law enforcement thing. But when you create a culture that's not a fear, they have no fear of like repercussions or consequences, this is what's going to happen. Like, there was just a news article here in Central Ohio of crime spilling into the suburbs. And it's like, well, what did you think was going to happen? Like, there's no border around like major cities, and like, you're not going to put a fence around like some influential or affluential suburb, right? Like that's going to happen. It is going to go into the rural areas, and it's going to go into the people who have the money. And it's like, I hate to say it, but that's when people will start to pay attention. But that's what happens when you tie the hands of law enforcement. What like really frustrates me is there's an old saying. I don't know if you've heard it or not, either one of you, but it's used amongst minorities. And the saying is, just because we skin folk don't mean we kin folk. And it's basically saying like, just because we black, like, don't mean like we related. And a lot of like politicians have that mindset. But it's really us that need to have that mindset, because a lot of these like politicians who are people of color will swoop in and be like, oh yeah, look at me. Like, I'm a person of color. Like, I know the struggle. But it's just like, like you go to these low income areas who are struggling from like poverty and high crime and, everything else. And it's just like, you don't have any experience in that. Like, you swoop in after you've caused like all this divisive destruction, right? Like you're pretty much telling the police that they're thugs. You got to get these criminals. And then in the same breath, you turn around and you tell the community members that the police are racist. But then you swoop in and like, you give this speech. Well, guys, all we need is love. And then they go back to the cushy area in which they live, where they're not affected, or they have like their private security detail. But to kind of switch gears on this, is it just, I'm coming back to work soon. I don't know exactly when, but I'm coming back to work soon. And I'm inspired by all of this. Like I'm inspired to like really go out here and just do more and reach more, because they can implement all of these policies. they could change all of these laws, but something that they can't change is my heart. And if you're listening to this, I want you to understand that too. Like, they can't change your heart. They can't put something in place that will stop you from caring for people and being a light in a very dark world, and being unapologetically you and unashamed of like who you are, despite whatever narrative is in place. And I'm ready for that. Like, I'm pumped to just go back to work and shove it in people's faces for real. Like, I don't want that to be my motivation, but like, I would be a liar if I said that that's not part of my motivation. Like,
yeah,
I'm going to make you eat your words. Like, oh, the police are racist, or, oh, the police don't care about the community. Just wait.
Yeah, exactly.
You're going to see like who we really are, not just me, but us as a profession. So if you're listening to that, like, I want you to, like, when you see these stories and when you see these videos, like the one we just talked about that happened in DC, I want you to think like, okay, what can I do in my community to prevent this from happening? How can I pour in to teenagers? That way this doesn't cross their mind. Or how can I be the enforcer in my community? That way they know there's a consequence and a repercussion for their actions. Therefore, they won't do this in the area that I work. How can you build those relationships? How can you have that rapport with the Uber Eats drivers? Because, you know, they need to feel safe as well. So I just want you to, like, maybe challenge yourself this week, next week, every single day for the rest of your career, or whatever you want to do. Maybe just challenge yourself. Like, how can I take all of this negativity that I'm seeing in the world right now and turn it into a positive and really be a beacon of hope for the profession and people in general?
Yeah, you're spot on with that, and that's what we have to. That's the only thing that's gonna allow us to continue forward and bring other people hope. Is you have the ability to control what you can control. We can't get caught up with everybody else, because when you get caught up with everybody else, then it's only going to hinder you and demotivate you from trying to go out there and really stimulate the positive change that we need. Man, I just read an article right now. It says Virginia Beach officer who shot a man to death did not activate his body cam, police said. But that's the headline. But do you know the actual story behind it? The story behind it says, the fact that there was 3 separate shootings, or how about the fact that 10 people were injured and 2 people were killed in these shootings that occurred before this. So this guy that they shot,
wow,
I guess had, killed other people and shot a whole bunch of other people, but they're focusing on the fact that his body camera wasn't activated. So it just got goes to show, like, again, we're trying to sensationalize things that are going to garner attention. I had that video, and I called you yesterday, AJ, or 2 days ago, when I posted a video about Sean King, about how he was showing he posted that video of the helicopters saying that they were wanting to pour gasoline on the protesters and then light them on fire. And then, LAPD did the investigation and determined that it was all a lie. And, he doesn't come out and say, oh, my bad, y'all, they actually were justified, or this wasn't LAPD. He didn't do none of that. The only thing he did was turn off his comments. And that's what makes me so infuriated, is like, all these people, that to me proves that all you're about is, dividing people and generating enough likes and traction in order to push your agenda forward. You'll never see that person come forward and say, you know what, my bad, y'all, I messed up, I screwed up.
Yeah, exactly. I want to take a minute and recognize Officer Eric Talley from the Boulder Police Department for multiple reasons. First of which he paid the ultimate price doing his job, trying to protect lives, save people's lives from an active shooter. But I want you to think about the narrative that's been pushed so hard these past years. And I want you to compare that narrative to Officer Talley's actions. Officer Talley being a white male who ran into a grocery store where an active shooter was killing people. That officer didn't second guess. He didn't think, oh, there's black people in here being killed, there's white people being killed in here. He did what he was trained to do. He ran into this grocery store and lost his life trying to protect people, not white people, not black people, not Asian people, people. We need to stop allowing these people in positions of power to push this false narrative, because it overshadows when a true hero loses his life doing what he or she is supposed to do.
Yep.
What happened in Colorado was a tragedy. It was an absolute tragedy. It was devastating that so many people lost their lives. But when I look at that story and I see the picture of Officer Talley, who has 7 kids, 7 kids, 7 mouths that he felt he needed to provide for. He could have went out here and did anything as a profession, anything, especially in today's times. Especially in today's times where he's automatically classified as a racist. He's automatically classified as a bad person just because the uniform he puts on. But he went above and beyond. He ran into that grocery store knowing that it was going to put his life in danger, and he paid the ultimate sacrifice. So I just want to kind of take the moment to switch gears. I really want to honor him and all the first responders that responded to that run and ultimately did what they were supposed to do, which was save lives. So shout out to Boulder, the Boulder County Sheriff's Office, the local PD there, all the medics, the firefighters, anyone who rendered first aid. There's actually a member of Humanizing the Badge who works for that sheriff department, Vinny Montez. I'm praying over you, brother. I'm praying over like all of your coworkers, Officer Talley's friends and families as well. And, you know, I just ask that he continues to watch over us.
Yeah, man. And that's, you know, watching that, when that all came out, I mean, I think we were all texting back and forth when it was occurring. Yeah. It was just, it was crazy. It was surreal. And, you know, just the reality that at any moment in time that can happen anywhere. And you said it, man, like he chose to put his family or the lives of everybody else in that grocery store before his own family, before the 7 children he has, before the wife that he has. And these officers and everybody that's listening to this, especially if you're going into the profession, we all choose to do that. And that's, you know, somebody asked the question, do you think of it, look at it as like a privilege and honor to be a police officer? And absolutely, I definitely do, because how can you get more honorable? What's more honorable than the people that put their lives on the line every single day for somebody else? That doesn't get more honorable than that. And we don't do it for honor. We don't do it for clout. We don't do it because definitely because think about it. If we were doing it for the clout, we wouldn't be a police officer. You know,
no, not right now. We wouldn't.
If we were doing it for the clout, we wouldn't be a police officer. If we were doing it for, you know, the honor, it's just terrible, man. And that was a situation and the other thing about that was the politicians so quickly tried to make this into an agenda almost immediately. Bro, don't get without me even started without even my goodness, bro. Without even acknowledging or paying any tribute to the families, you know, reaching out to the families, you know, without doing any of that, they immediately turned this into a political agenda about race, about gun control.
Yep.
I mean, they didn't waste any time.
As it was happening. So I would say that the text thread that you and I were in, we're probably a little further ahead of the curve. Like we probably knew a little earlier than a majority of other people did, just because of some connections there. As we were texting back and forth, I pulled up Instagram, and there was a gun control post that was related to that already on Instagram. It made me sick. I'm like, wow, like I don't know, man. Like, I guess I ask myself, right? Like, so when I see like these policies, that some of these, I won't go into specifics. When I see some of these policies that are being pushed, and, you know, like posts like that, I ask myself, like, do you truly believe in what you're pushing, or are you trying to like position yourself for the next role, or like what's your true intent here? And it's really confusing for me. Like, I'll be honest with you, man. Like, it's like some of this stuff, like I can't really wrap my mind around. Like it doesn't make any logical sense to me. I've had conversations with a lot of people about some of these things, and, you know, it doesn't make sense to them. And I try to have a very diverse circle, you know, so I'm getting different viewpoints and inputs. So yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. And I don't know where I'm going with this, man, but it's just like, anytime like something happens, like I always think of intent, like what's your intent with this? And then what's your past history? Like those are two things like I always go back on. Right. So like if, someone walks up and slaps me in the face, like the first thing I'm gonna think is like, well, what was your intent? Like, did I have a fly on my face, or did you want to smack me? And then what's your past history, right? Like, do you just be going around smacking people, or is this new, right?
Yep,
Like,
yep, exactly.
And then the same thing with like these politicians, right? Like, what's your intent in pushing this, whatever this is that you're pushing, and then what's your past history? Like, do you have a history of pushing stuff like this? And
well,
why?
and like I said, I don't know if you saw the article, I posted it, but as soon as that happened, and I actually did a post on this too. As soon as that happened, it said Biden administration urges Supreme Court to let cops enter homes and seize guns without a warrant. It's like, did y'all even talk to the cops about this yet?
Yeah.
How they feel about doing that? Because I'm telling you now,
that.
because I'm not doing that. And the crazy thing is, like, is you guys had all this energy 6 months ago about going into people's homes on warrantless searches or whatever, or doing no knock warrants. Y'all came with all this energy about how y'all want to make things so tough and police officers shouldn't be able to do this and that. But yet when gun control happens, because it pushes your agenda for gun control, now you want to allow us to make warrantless entries to take guns out of the house.
Whoo, hey, you just said something right there.
Yeah, think about that.
You just said something right there, because I never heard that comparison.
Think about that.
When we done with this podcast, you need to record a video breaking that down. Hey, you just said something right there, and that's true. It's absolutely true, and it just goes back to like, people don't care as long as it fits their agenda. Like, and that's, that's the frustrating thing is like, even if we go back to the beginning of this podcast when we talked about like the Lil Nas X, like we both even said like, hey, do what you do. Yeah. I feel like it's an attack on Christianity. I'm not going to support you, right? Like I'm not going to go and buy the shoes and, start bumping your music and all of that. But at the end of the day, do what you do. Like, I'm not going to attack you for that. But there's so many people who, he needs to die and he needs to go to jail and we need to look.
Do what you do. Do what you do. And that's, it's just, it's so frustrating, man. And just every day we see more and more and more of it, and
what makes me happy, man. And this is like very genuine for those of you watching this. You could see the smile that just popped up on my face. Is I am so excited for the future of law enforcement. I'm not just saying that. I promise you, I'm not just saying that. I really mean it. And here's why: is we have a decent amount of law enforcement officers that listen to this podcast, a lot of which are newer to the profession. And I'm excited because they listen to us, right? Like, I'm not going to sit here and lie. Like, I love the fact that you're listening to us. Hopefully you're taking something away that we've learned along our journey in life, both personally and professionally. And, Ryan brings something different to the table. I bring something different to the table. Billy, we have guests for a reason, right? Like, I'm more so excited, though, that you have that mindset going into this profession. Like, okay, I want to learn as much as I can going into this profession about community relations, about how to connect to people, about different people's opinions, right? Because we face a lot of backlash. Oh, you have convicted felons on the podcast, or you have people who were shot by the police and you blah, 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 right? And it's just like, that's why we do it. We bring it in because we want to hear other people's perspectives and other people's viewpoints. And I am so excited for the future of law enforcement for that. Like, I feel like the new generation of officers who are coming in just get it a lot more than the older generation does. And no knock on the older generation. Like, they had to police differently, right? Like there were things that they had to face that we don't have to face now, probably because of that older generation. And I pay homage to them, right? Like, they really paved the way. Times are a lot different now, but I'm truly excited. I'm truly excited. So if you're listening to this and you're considering going into the field, I know of someone, let me think. I got to be careful how I say this. I know of someone who listens to this podcast that's local here in Central Ohio that's going into the field of law enforcement. I just want to motivate. I just want to say I support you. I'm proud of you, and you guys and girls motivate me. You guys and girls motivate me. And I know you motivate Ryan as well to just go out here and to be better and to hold ourselves more accountable than ever and to reach more people and to just do whatever we can to help leave this world a better place than what we found it in. So I'm really excited. Like despite all this negativity and like everything we've even talked about like on this podcast, like, you know, we could doom and gloom until we're voiceless, right? Like there's a lot of negativity in this world. Like I'm not going to deny it, but there's much more positivity. And I don't even think it compares. Like I truly don't. Like I think for every bad thing that happens in this world, there's probably 1,000 good things that happen that just people overlooked, right? Like just daily good gestures that people overlooked. The other day I was shopping with my cousin and this woman dropped a $20 bill on the ground. And I didn't skip a beat. I was like, hey, you dropped your money. And you'd have thought like I gave her $100. Like she was like, oh my goodness, thank you so much. And you could just tell like that $20 to her was a lot. And so stuff like that happens every single day. And like no one bats an eye at it. Right. So there is a lot more positivity in this world. And I'm gonna give you a lot of challenges this week because as y'all can tell, I'm on one. It's Sunday. When we record on Sundays, it's different. We got the word God going. Listen, woo. But you know, another challenge is to focus on that positivity.
Yeah,
focus on the positivity in the world. If the negativity seeps into your life, or you know, however it gets there, how can you turn it into a positive? And then focus on the positivity. Focus on the positivity of life because it's all around. It is all around.
Man, you're so spot on, and I'm so excited where we're going to. You got to realize is that, you know, we all want better. Everybody wants better. Even the ones that we least expect, they want better. Their way of getting it better is just a little off. And so, you know, once we cut the fluff around some of these different things, some of these reform laws and things like that, we will start to, you know, iron out, okay, what is good and what's not good. And so I still have hope despite the frustrations that I have. I still have hope, which is why I still show up to work every single day and do my job. And then when I do my job effectively, I get to see the success stories behind it all. So, you know, just keep the hope. I want to transition really quickly. I don't know why we were going to go somewhere else talking about use of forest options and stuff like that.
Save that.
But I want to talk about something. I don't know why God has put it on my heart right now. Man, I don't know why, but if you're a police officer right now, first responder, and you're married, I want you to pour into your marriage with your spouse. I don't know why I felt led to say that, but you need to focus on that relationship because sometimes we do a job that is so dangerous. We do a job that is so stressful that it's very, very easy to lose touch with reality. It's very, very easy to get on your own soapbox. It's very easy to woe is me. And we lose track and we lose focus of loving the one that's loved us first, you know, outside of God. You know, I think about my wife, and I want to really just shout out my wife right now. That woman, man, she's been by my side for forever now. You know what I mean?
Talk.
And she has held me down in my ups. She's held me down in my downs. And she watches our 3 little children at home. And so if you're listening to this and you're somebody that's struggling in your marriage right now, I want you to put them first. And this is what I mean by that. I know it's hard. You may be going through some depression from a critical incident. You may be going through some things, whether it be alcoholism or whatever it is. But one, I need you to put them first. And what I'm telling you to do is I try to tell myself to do with my own wife. So I'm not telling you to do something that I don't practice myself. The other thing too is be faithful. Be faithful. Because if you're messing around on your spouse and, you know, for whatever reasons, don't use what you're going through in your profession as an excuse to go out there and mess around on your spouse. Because when law enforcement is over, when the whole hoorah is over, if you don't take care of them first, then don't expect them to take care of you when they really need you. And so it is so important to invest in our marriages. I know a few people right now that are going through some things in their marriage. Some are on the brink of divorce. Some just aren't happy. But you got to ask yourself, why aren't you happy? You know, some of the lessons I've learned in my own marriage is that, you know, it's okay to be wrong. It's okay to be different. But at the end of the day, we need to work towards a common goal to find neutral ground with one another, so that way we can move forward and progress forward together. We're humans, and just the human nature of us is going to have us have conflict. But learn how to date your wife. Learn how to date your husband again. Learn how to love them. Learn to figure out, things. Listen to them. You know what I mean? Listen to them. They always listen to us. They probably listen to our nonsense that we talk about. Listen to them. If the kids were acting up, listen to them. If they need time, and I'm telling you, this is hard for me too. So I don't want you guys to think that this is easy. It's hard for me too, because there's times where I come home from a long week and I just want to relax. But at the same time, it was a hard week for my wife as well. And so you got to love the ones that loved you first, because at the end of the day, police work is all fun, but at the end of the day, it's a career that will end one day. And when your career ends there, the one person that will still be there if you've done what you're supposed to be doing is your spouse. And so I don't know why I felt led to say that right now, but there are probably people listening to this right now that either they're struggling in their marriage, or they're unfaithful in their marriage. They're struggling from substance abuse. I get it, but you need to work on, take care of that because it matters.
You know what I found is I feel like there's a portion of law enforcement officers who fall in love with the job and fall out of love with people. And I think that's very detrimental. Like
say that again.
I just feel like there's a handful of law enforcement officers who fall in love with the job but fall out of love with people, meaning that you fall in love with, the adrenaline, the power, going out here chasing criminals, whatever it is, writing tickets, running the freeway, parking enforcement, DUIs, whatever, right? Guns and dope. They fall in love with that. But then in doing that, they fall out of love with people, meaning like, well, I can't trust people, and people are violent in nature, and I want to move as far away from people as I can and get as much land as I can. That way I don't have to talk to people, and they become antisocial. And that's a rabbit hole you don't want to go down. It's when you start going down, and I found myself doing it, which is why I'm talking about it, right? Like when I first got on this job, oh my goodness, I couldn't believe they paid me to do the job. Like I would get in my car on my way home and call my classmate and be like, dude, I can't believe they're paying us for this. Like, this is fun. I love this job. Like, I wanted to come in and work on my days off, which might sound crazy, but like I did. Like, I loved it. Like, we just had so much fun. We had a good crew. We had a good supervisors. The area we worked was booming. I mean, we were just doing our thing. We were getting it, kicking in doors, guns and dope, foot chases, vehicle pursuits. You wrestling around with people fighting us. My FTO got shot in his taser. Like, it was crazy, man. But during that time, I realized that something transitioned, and that was I only hung around cops. Like that. Like, I didn't trust people. I carried myself differently, and I fell in love with the profession, which is fine. You can fall in love with your profession. Like, I think it's very good to find a job that you love, and then you'll never have to work another day in your life. Like, I truly believe in that, but you can't fall more in love with your job than you do with your wife, or, with the big man upstairs, right? Like with Jesus, or, whatever you believe in, or with your friends. I've seen that too, like where people get in this job and their friends are no longer their friends, at least like they were before. And it's almost like they're ashamed. Like, I don't want to bring my friends around like police officers and whatnot. So just, kind of take that as you want to. And, but remember, when you get in this profession, or if you're in this profession, like maybe you need to take a step back and analyze what your life looks like, because it is a slippery slope. It is a very slippery slope that could lead to alcoholism, drug abuse, just self-destruction. And there is a culture that goes with this job. Very, very A-type, we're going to go out and to the bar afterwards and drink and do our choir practice thing and hide our emotions and feelings. But there's a reason why the suicide rate is so high in our profession as well. So, you know, we have to address that as well. Like, something we're doing as a profession is not working, which means we have to try something else. Which is why I'm super excited about the future of law enforcement. Yep. Like, I truly feel like you guys and girls get it. I really do, and I'm excited because you're open to have these hard conversations. You're open to learn about different cultures, different religions, different everything. And you're willing to take those extra steps. So I'm super excited. Man,
can I use that? I want to use that phrase to make a video. You mind if I use that phrase? I'll give you the credit.
Go ahead, brother. Yep.
I'll give you the credit. But that is, man, fall in love with the job and fall out of love with people. Man, that is deep. And the reason that's so deep is because, you know, it's so true in so many different ways. You know, you fall in love with the job, but you fall out of love with your family. You fall in love with the job, but yet you hate the people that you serve every single day. You fall in love with the job, but you can't stand the people that you work with alongside of. Like, you know, that is so true in so many different ways. And that's what people need to remember is, like, the reason I got into the job is because I love people in the first place.
Yeah. So the department that I work for, I would say our average academy size is 50 to 60 cadets. We put through 2 classes a year. So, you know, we're roughly hiring about 100 officers a year for, you know, to keep up with retirements and whatnot. And some of those officers are like, anyway, that's irrelevant. But we had an instructor who was like a legend on our department. And he was an instructor for years and years. Like, everyone knew of him, you know, prior to even getting in the academy. Like, oh, you're going to meet this guy. I'm not going to put his name out there. But something he was really known for was his diversity class. And like, it was just known to get wild. Like, he would like yell at people. And like it was the one time when you were a cadet that you could speak your mind. And, you know, what was said was said. There's no hard feelings. I want you to speak openly. If you feel like you want to cuss at me, that's fine. And it was just like that environment. So, you know, and when you're talking about something like race, like, you know, it just kind of came out. And what he would do is, it was like a 3-day class, right? Like you had 3 days of this, and it was intense. What he would do is the first day of this class, he would ask, you know, he pointed cadets, hey, why did you become a police officer? And I would say almost 90% of the people essentially said, you know, I want to help people. That's what it came down to, right? Just in different forms, you know. You know, some of it looked like I watched my father beat my mother growing up, so I want to go out here and be an advocate for abused spouses, which I want to help people, right? I have a friend who lost their life in an OVI. I want to go out here and hammer OVIs. Essentially, I want to help people. Right? Yeah, that's what I mean, right? But then you go through the academy, you know, you go through this class, you graduate, you have 6 months on the street, you come back, and then you have one more day of his class. So you have like a week long at the academy, like after you're done with coaching. So you have 6 months on the street, you're coaching, learning the job. You have a small time by yourself, and then you come back for a week at the academy. And, you know, he asked people like, you know, tell me about the job. And everybody's like, oh man, I kicked in a door, man. I wrestled with this guy. This guy punched me. I punched him back. A couple of the cadets were involved in like shootings. Wow. It's just crazy stories, right? And then at the end, he would go, you know, it's funny because I remember asking you, like, all of you said that you really wanted to help people, but I'm not really hearing that. Like, where's the excitement for you helping the old lady across the street, or you mentoring a kid or families? And you could hear a pin drop. Like when he would say that, everybody would just sit there like, wow, like you're right. And he would always end that class with, look, you were doing that for 6 months and you were already like this. What are you going to look like 6 years from now? Or like by the time you retire, right? Like, what are you going to look like then? And he's like, you need to check yourself. Like, if you took this job for why you say you took this job, then you need to look in the mirror and like remind yourself of that every single day. And that's something I try to do. Like his class clearly left an impression on me, and hopefully like me sharing that story with you left an impression on you as well. Like, you have to ask yourself, like, why did I take this job? Despite everything else that's going on in the world, all of that aside, like, why did you take this job? If it's to help people, what are you doing to help people on a daily basis? Like, I truly believe that we have the best job because we have the most opportunity to reach people in a time of need. I don't know how else to say it. Like, you know, people ask me like, why are you so in love with your job? And it's just like, I love helping people. And I found a job that allows me to do that in their time of need. Like, most of the time when we encounter people, like it's at their low. No one calls the police when they're happy, right?
Yeah.
Like, you call the police when stuff's going down, right? Even like your suicidal thoughts and you know, stuff like that.
And you can't stop it either. You got to keep going, even though you might be, even though we might deal with people that continue to commit crimes or continue to, you know, revel in the behavior they're doing. I give you a quick example of that. I told you guys I'm working on the homeless outreach team now. And one of the things I've learned is, you know, dealing with a lot of these people that are homeless, a lot of them choose to be homeless. Like, they're not, that you can offer them resources after resources after resources, and they'll stay homeless because that's, whether it's mental illness or whatever, but a lot of them choose to be homeless. And so it's very easy for me in my new position to just become like, hey, they don't want to accept services, so I'm just going to, you know, arrest them or do whatever. Very easy to do that because you just get so used to seeing them, you know, revel in their behavior that it's like, you know, why even try? But the reason why you keep trying is this reason. I'm going to give you a story from this week. It's actually a phenomenal story. So we got a call. I was working last week, and we got a call of this guy that was sleeping in front of our community building. So me, my partner, coupled with one of the social workers that we tag team with, a really good guy, we all went over, the three of us went over there to go see who he was. And the way our strategy is we work alongside of these social workers because, you know, they're there to offer them services and everything like that. And we want to also be able to be there with them to figure out what else we can do to help them. So all three of us went over there. As we're talking to this guy, is a Chinese guy in his 30s. He's 33, young guy. And, you know, you could tell he definitely has some mental illness, but he was super, super dirty. Hair was super long, everything like that. So as my partner, the social worker, is talking to him, you know, I get his name and information, and I go run a records check on him to figure out who he is. So when I run him, I found out that this dude has been missing since 2018. So I was like, oh, shoot. So I looked at the hit that came back, and he was missing out of Redondo Beach. And they had some notes that said, yeah, you know, essentially he went to China in 2018 on his way back. He missed his connecting flight to Chicago and told his family that he wasn't coming back. So his mom has been looking for him since 2018. They even hired a private investigator to try to find him, and they never found him. So after a while, we were like, I called over to Redondo Beach. They actually just put a bulletin out for him recently. And so I spoke to the detective there, and he was like, yeah, hey, here's mom's number. Go ahead and give her a call. So I give mom a call, and mom is just like super, like, she's floored. Like, she's like so excited. She's like, I've been calling. She's like, I've been calling corners to the coroner's office. I thought he was dead. And, you know, we didn't know where he was at. And so I was like, hey, would you like to talk to him? She was like, I could talk to him. I was like, yeah, you could talk to him. So, because he was in the backseat of my police car. And so I was like, you know, I'll do you one side. I was like, do you have an iPhone? She was like, yeah, I have an iPhone. I was like, would you like to FaceTime? She lost it. She was like, really?
That's dope.
So I put him on FaceTime. I put her on FaceTime with her son, and bro, she just broke down crying. And he's like, hey mom, like, hey mom, how you doing? You could tell he's going through some mental illness, but he definitely knew what was going on. He's like, hi mom, yeah, I've been gone for a while, you know. And so we actually took him to this center that's called the Merrill Center, where it's like a stabilization center. So people that are on substance abuse or have mental illness, they try to stabilize them in 24 hours. So we took him there, and then I stayed in contact with mom and dad over the course of the next few days, because mom, she lives in Georgia. She's like, hey, I'm coming out today. So she flew out overnight, got here, and then so she sent me a picture of him. And he's like all cleaned up and just like looks way, way different. And so he's like, oh, thank you, officer. Like, I'm glad to be a mom. And she said, yeah, we took him to a pho restaurant, surprised him. But I say that story to say this is like, if I would have just treated him like anybody else, like any other homeless person that doesn't want to accept services, that's just like everybody else, then I would have probably missed the opportunity to reunite him with his mom. I would have probably just been so, like you talk about, you know, you got to love people, or we fall out of love with people. If I would have fallen out of love with people, I would have just said, hey, you know what, get out of here. or go somewhere else. They don't want you sleeping here, or hey, let's take him to jail for trespassing, whatever it is, and not even try to go do a thorough investigation to figure out who he was. If I would have fallen out of love with people. And that's a prime example of why it's so important to not allow the 95% of your contacts or not allow the 5% of the negative contacts that you have to affect the 95% of the outlook of your life. And that's unfortunately what we do sometimes, is we will start to allow the 5% of negative interactions that we have with the population to affect the 95% of the rest of the population, and we can't do that. So those are wise words, as you said, AJ. You know, we fall so in love with the job and fall out of love with people, man. Make sure that this is not something you do. Make sure you love your wife, your husband, your kids, the people that we serve, because that's how we're going to change society. You know, we started this podcast talking about all the negative things going on. Well, how do we change all those negative things going on? Love people. Simple as that. Love people.
That's right.
You know,
Billy's Corner. What you got? What we got from Billy's Corner?
I like that. Billy's Corner. I like that.
Billy's Corner.
Yeah, I mean, not a lot to add. Sorry, guys.
No, that's good. There was a lot.
Billy. Yeah, and I'm not gonna pretend like I know anything about what I'm about to talk about. But I've been doing some interviews for a clinic that does first responder wellness specifically for addiction and PTSD. And just learning from what they've said, this is not from me, sometimes PTSD can lead to, you know, obviously substance abuse, even affairs, hypervigilance, thinking everyone's a dirtbag and out to get you. These types of mood swings are also, like, just really point to PTSD. So just if those types of things are popping up in your life, or if you have a friend you're seeing some changes, you know, there is help out there, and get help, because a lot of it can be mental health, even just with the officers.
Absolutely. It's important. Yeah. Don't let your mental health go down. We have to preventative care. I like to call it preventative care. We work in a job that there are some assumed injuries or assumed mental illnesses that you will go through just because of it comes with the territory of this job. And so rather than to react once you get there, go into preventative care. It's almost like working out. Like, you're not working out for, so you don't want to start working out when you get diagnosed with that ailment that's going to prevent you. You want to start working out well before then, so that way you can avoid that illness in the end. So wise words, Billy. Wise words from Billy's Corner.
Billy's Corner, or maybe Billy's Stool would be better, because, you know, that's how he started. He started on a stool.
That's true.
Like a little kid, Billy's Stool.
But
then they might think it's like a different type of stool.
I like Billy's Suburb.
Billy's. Ooh.
Billy's
What's
suburb.
going on in
the suburbs?
Billy's Beverly Hills suburb.
Got that podcast money.
Oh man, all
that
of it.
Oprah money.
All $1 of it. So, hey guys, this was it's always an excellent episode. Always good to talk about new topics. Just so you know, me and AJ actually have planned on talking about less lethal options in law enforcement today, and you can clearly see we steered off. So couple episodes we're gonna start bringing to your way. I haven't talked to AJ about this, so this is probably news to him, and Billy actually. But
surprise,
yes. I want to do an episode with our wives, so Bianca and
another wife episode.
Yeah, so I'd like to do another wife episode. Get Shelby on the podcast. So that will be nice. Also, well overdue, but we're going to get a dispatcher on and talk.
We keep talking about that, man.
I know. So we're going to have a dispatcher on. We'll have our spouse episode. And so we're going to hopefully do those within the next few weeks. Probably be a minute, because Billy's baby's going to be due any day now.
Yes, sir. Let's go.
So with that being said, though, if we do another car episode, or if we do another Zoom episode or whatever, just realize it's not because we don't care about the podcast. It's just because we got to make do, because Billy's going to be out of commission for a little bit. So yeah,
actually it's the opposite. It's because we do care about the podcast, which is why we're doing it.
Exactly.
You know, we're finding a way. I need you to do me a favor, though. You being the listeners, is I need you to share this episode with a friend, or with someone that's in the profession, or in a Facebook group, in a group chat with your coworkers. We just really want to get this podcast out to more listeners, whether they're in the profession or not. We feel like we were put in this position for a reason. So we just, we want to get this out here. So if you could like it, share it, do what you got to do to help us out. We will definitely appreciate it. And we appreciate you anyway for tuning in. So, make sure you take care of us.
All right. One has to go. I'm be a fat kid today. Lil Debbie snacks. All right.
Oh, betrayal.
Lil Debbie snacks. I don't know when the last time you guys had a Lil Debbie snack is, but I love me some Lil Debbie snacks. So first one, oatmeal cream pie. Second one, the honey bun.
Ooh.
The third one, the Christmas tree cake.
Ooh.
And the last one, the strawberry shortcake.
Oh, that's easy. Okay. Now let's change it. Instead of the strawberry shortcake,
AJ always want to change it up.
Replace it with the brownie.
Replace what with the brownie?
With the strawberry, but no, cause I like the strawberry shortcake.
Okay, all right, we'll leave. All right, we'll leave. I'm getting rid of strawberry. Strawberry's gotta go.
Let me explain something. So
Billy has never had Lil Debbie.
For like a good dessert type of pastry like this, I like when it's thick and it actually like satisfies your stomach. Like sometimes donuts are too air thin, and you could eat 12 and it doesn't feel like you ate anything. So I'm gonna get rid of the honey bun. I think they're too airy and thin, and they don't satisfy as much as the other ones. And I think
Now,
you know what? I'm with Billy on that.
Yep.
Which honey bun we talking about? The one with the white icing or the one with like the normal icing?
The normal icing. These ones right here. Hold on. The Lil Debbie's.
Well, they got Lil Debbie's with the white icing.
Oh, my bad.
I can't see.
They're not as satisfying as the other things.
Okay. I'm still getting rid of the
Strawberry shortcake.
Yeah.
Nah,
Still
bro.
getting
I'm with
rid of
Billy.
Now-
I'm with Billy. The honey buns got to go. Now, if you do the honey buns that come in the big packs, those will stay.
with the white icing.
Oh, the white icing, bro. I've been wanting to eat one of those, so
I don't think I've had any of these in like years.
Oh, bro, I haven't either. I've been trying to be better. I used to get the strawberry shortcakes all the time, and the Christmas tree cakes. Got to.
Oh my goodness! I just put a picture up, y'all.
Bro, but the honey buns with the white icing, I've been wanting to have one of those for the longest, but I'm just yes, that one right there, bro.
I've
The
never
Hostess
I've never
joint.
seen that.
Bro, I've been wanting one of those for so long, but I'm like, I feel like the moment I eat it, I'm probably gonna die.
I might hit up a corner store. Like this is when I'm at work. This is stuff I eat for real. Like I'll be snacking, bro. Like I hit up the corner store, being there talking to people, come out with some like Skittles or something. But that strawberry shortcake,
Bro. I might go get a honey bun today. Actually, you know what else is fire is a zinger.
Microwave it. Oh, what?
A zinger.
I never heard of that.
What? Let me show you. Let me show you real quick.
Takis.
I hope
That's
people
where it's
like
at.
our food talk at the end of every episode.
We fat for real.
Bro,
That's
right
why.
here. Hold
No,
on.
that's nasty, dude.
You're tripping.
They look like rip-off Twinkies.
Nah, bro. Nah, right here. Here you go, AJ.
That's a rip-off Twinkie.
Oh yeah, those are trash.
Y'all
What?
Those are not satisfying. Like they're
they
too
taste
thin.
like plastic, like
Y'all
flavored
tripping.
plastic, bro. What? Those are horrible. A zinger?
Oh, what an idiot.
Throw that away, bro.
So y'all
Yeah.
gonna call me idiot. So y'all just gonna call my zingers idiot, huh?
Throw your phone away, bro. Like don't ever
Y'all some haters. You see, hey,
cancel your.
I've
cancel
never
your
seen
cell
those. Do they
phone
still
provider.
make them?
bro,
Like,
go to the gas station right now. You can pick them up.
No.
Go to the gas
What
station
gas
right now. You
station?
can pick it
What?
up.
it's
Name
$1
a gas
on
station.
Instacart. $1.
I never heard
man.
somebody. Hey, pick me up a zinger when you ask.
I will say that.
Grab me a bang and a zinger.
Hey, you know what? When I go like on an hour drive or something like that, I'll hit them with the zingers and a bang, bro.
Oh, no.
Yeah, bro. I'll probably
and a
die. Probably
zinger.
go into cardiac arrest, but it's bomb. So, oh man. Anyways, y'all, this was good. It's always a pleasure, man. I hope you guys have a phenomenal week. I hope you guys have nothing but the best week this week. Please share, and I want to hear some more feedback. We ain't had no comments in a while on our
Reviews.
or in the reviews. So go on Apple iTunes, leave us a review. I want to hear what you guys got to say. I want to get to 1,000 reviews. We are at, I think 632 is the last time I
I think
checked.
638 when I checked.
Oh, 638.
Not that I check all that often.
So 638, which is impressive. You guys, some of you guys may think like that's not a lot. No, if you look at any podcast, anything over like 500 to 1,000 is pretty good, substantial, unless you're like, Joe Rogan or something like that. So we got a lot of reviews, but I want to get it up to 1,000. So please make sure you guys leave us a review. Keep leaving us a 5-star rating and stuff like that, so that way we can continue to deliver the best content to you. So that being said, we will see y'all next week.
Peace.